Virgo, there are 3 dates in July that matter more than the rest. July 10th, July 24th, and July 29th. One changes how people see you. One restarts conversations that seemed stuck, and one reveals whether the routines you've been living by are helping you or quietly draining you. This is not the month you reinvent yourself. It is the month you reconnect with the version of yourself that has been there all along, waiting underneath the responsibilities, expectations, and obligations you've been carrying for everyone else. For most of this year, you've been the steady one, the person who notices what everyone misses, the one who keeps things moving when nobody else does. You may not have received much recognition for it, but July shifts the spotlight. For once, you're not standing behind the scenes holding everything together. You're stepping into the center of your own story. The first major shift arrives on July 10th. Venus enters Virgo and moves into your first house of self, body, identity, and personal image. This is one of the most supportive transits of the month because Venus tends to bring ease, attraction, confidence, and visibility wherever it goes. And when Venus moves through your first house, people notice. If you've been feeling overlooked, underestimated, or taken for granted, that energy begins to change. Your presence lands differently. Conversations flow more naturally. Doors that seemed closed may suddenly feel easier to open. This is not the time to hide. Say yes to the invitation. Update your appearance if you've been meaning to. Buy the thing that helps you feel like yourself again. Most importantly, allow yourself to receive appreciation without immediately deflecting it. This window is temporary and it deserves to be used. At the same time, another area of your life refuses to stay quiet. Throughout July, Mars and Uranus remain in your 10th house of career, public reputation, and long-term achievement. Mars brings ambition. Uranus brings surprise. Together, they create an atmosphere where professional changes can happen quickly. A role may shift. A manager may make an unexpected decision. An opportunity could appear with very little warning. As a Virgo, your instinct is usually to prepare, analyze, and create backup plans before moving forward. But this month may ask for faster decisions than you're comfortable making. Do not mistake unpredictability for danger. Uranus often rewards flexibility and punishes rigidity. The more adaptable you remain, the more opportunity you may discover hiding inside the unexpected. Beneath these visible changes, a deeper process is unfolding. On July 7th, Neptune stations retrograde. On July 26th, Saturn stations retrograde. Both are moving through your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, trust, vulnerability, and the agreements that bind people together. Whenever a planet stations, its influence becomes louder. Neptune asks where you've been avoiding reality. Saturn asks where greater maturity is required. Together, they point toward the same themes: honesty, boundaries, responsibility, and trust. A relationship, a financial arrangement, a promise you've made, a story you've been telling yourself about, why something has to remain the way it is. July invites you to examine these things more closely, not dramatically, not all at once, just honestly. Now let's walk through the month itself. The first week begins quietly. On July 2nd, the moon moves through your 7th house of partnership, drawing attention toward an important connection. Someone close to you may need your presence, your attention, or simply your willingness to listen. Then comes July 7th. Neptune turns retrograde while the last quarter moon encourages release. This combination can reveal assumptions you've been carrying about responsibility, fairness, or emotional debt. Something may become easier to let go of once you see it clearly. Then everything begins to brighten. July 10th marks Venus entering Virgo, and from this point forward, the month starts feeling different. The middle of July belongs to you. On July 14th, a new moon at 22 degrees Cancer activates your 11th house of friendships, community, support systems, and future goals. This is a planting season. Reach out to people who genuinely support your growth. Reconnect with your vision of where you want your life to be 1 year from now. Small actions taken now have the potential to grow into something meaningful later. The second half of the month gradually shifts inward. On July 23rd, the Sun enters Leo and moves into your 12th house of reflection, healing, rest, and preparation. Jupiter is already here throughout the month, expanding your need for solitude, perspective, and deeper meaning. This is not withdrawal, It is preparation. Your season is approaching and the universe seems to be asking you to slow down before the next chapter begins. Then comes the second key date, July 24th. Mercury stations direct at 16 degrees Cancer, ending its retrograde in your 11th house. Conversations begin moving again. Misunderstandings become easier to resolve. Plans that felt stalled gain momentum. Friendships and group dynamics that seemed uncertain may suddenly become clearer. The mental fog begins to lift. 2 days later, on July 26th, Saturn stations retrograde in your 8th house. This deepens the themes that Neptune introduced earlier in the month. The difference is that Saturn demands action. Boundaries that need to be set become impossible to ignore. Responsibilities become clearer. Maturity becomes non-negotiable. And finally, July arrives at its climax. On July 29th, a full moon at 6 degrees Aquarius illuminates your 6th house of work, health, routines, and daily habits. Something reaches completion, a project, a workload, a responsibility, or perhaps a habit that has finally shown you whether it is helping or harming your well-being. Pay close attention to your body around this time. Your body has been collecting information all month. The full moon simply reveals what it already knows. In love, July carries some of the warmest energy you've experienced in quite some time. Once Venus enters your sign on July 10th, your natural magnetism becomes much easier for others to see. If you're in a relationship, the 8th house retrogrades encourage honesty around intimacy, shared finances, future plans, and emotional vulnerability. Speak the truth early. Small conversations now prevent larger frustrations later. If you're single, visibility becomes one of your greatest strengths. Stop waiting to be discovered. Allow yourself to be seen. For health and energy, rhythm matters more than intensity. The first 3 weeks build momentum. The final stretch of the month, especially around the July 29th full moon in your 6th house, may reveal accumulated fatigue if you've been pushing too hard. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. This month, rest is part of the work itself. By the time July ends, you'll have a clearer understanding of what deserves your energy, what deserves your trust, and what deserves to move forward with you into the months ahead. The opportunities will appear. The conversations will happen. The signs will be there. The only real question is whether you'll be ready to act when they arrive.